Good morning, good morning. How are you all doing, people? Yeah, so Chiron again. Chiron, we hate Chiron. Venus and Mercury as well, I think, were conjunct Chiron a couple of days ago, so that served to take us back into the deepest wound again. And I dare say quite a few of us felt like absolute shit. Well, I know I did. It was appalling, really bad, but good, if you know what I mean. It's like that, isn't it? Feels absolutely appalling, but it is good because it's clearing it out. I had a shitload of past life memory triggers going on, which was pretty amazing and intense. I remember the life I had in Greece in the 30s, quite a good life, and it could explain why I feel so drawn to Greece, because I do. Even though I've never been there, I'd love to go to Greece. And another thought came to me as well, and it was this, that, you know, time is an illusion. It doesn't exist. It's not linear. In fact, it just doesn't exist. It's not at all what we think it is with that consciousness, you know, so I remember, for example, being a soldier, an American soldier, and landing on one of the beaches in Normandy in the Allied invasion of World War II, and getting shot and dying. And I remember watching Saving Private Ryan the first time when it came out, and I mean, I was in tears, because that is exactly what it was like. The beaches were covered in blood. I mean, it was absolutely appalling. We came out of these things, oh man, language not great this morning, you know, I'm a bit come out of this boat, this flap went down, toof, and there was this guy behind me going, go, 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 and we're like, and there's soldiers and they're pushing behind me and in front of me, and I'm being pushed into soldiers, and I'm being pushed against, and woo, and I've got my gun, and I'm really young, and I'm not sure that I even know how to shoot this gun, because I'm that scared that I'm puking my guts up, and I'm utterly terrified, and I can't seem to move my fingers. I can't remember how to shoot my gun. I'm that scared. And the next thing, I'm on this beach, and there's literally bullets whizzing past me. There's people screaming. There's people with missing body parts. There's blood everywhere. There's shit everywhere. It's utter fucking chaos. And I have no idea what to do. I can't think straight. And I think that's about the time where I get shot and I die. Yet, I also remember being on my deathbed in 1943, being round about in my 80th or 82nd year, and my son being by my bed, and so forth and so on. Because of course, you can go anywhere and live a lifetime, come back from that, think, right, what am I going to do next? Think, oh, yeah, I'll go back to that time but do something different. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can go anywhere and do anything at any given time. And so, yeah, just some more kind of insight about that I wanted to share with you. And then I had a very interesting experience. I was lying in bed last night, and I've been feeling very kind of anxious, very fight or flight, very kind of like Aries, like, let's come on, and at the same time feeling this kind of resistance of mundane reality programming, of no, this is all there is, and, you know, stay small, stay in the dark, it's safe there. All this type of tug of war business that a lot of people are feeling at the moment. So feeling, and feeling really quite awful, actually. Yeah. And then this vision burst. I can't really, it was weird. It was like, wow. Where I was something else. I was not a human being. and I was creating something. It was all blue. It was like this color, but better, more luminous. It was amazing. And I understood very clearly there were other beings there, and they were talking to me, and they said, you know, you're an infinite being, you're infinite. You are having an experience which is all made up of beliefs and programs and definitions and words and language and nuances, and yet none of it is real. It's an illusion. It's not real at all, because you see, you're infinite, and home is a place of such bliss and perfection and wholeness and belonging as to completely and utterly defy language. And they showed me, and they made me feel it, and just for like a second I felt it, and it was oh, yeah, like I don't know, like taking really good drugs. I mean, I've taken heroin in the past. It was a bit like that, but much better. It was amazing. And it said, well, there is really all this, you know, we're here, we're in this realm, we're having this experience, and we believe it all to be true and to be real, and oh, we mustn't rise above our station. We can't think of ourselves as powerful because some great big dark hand will come and smash us down. How dare you think you're powerful? How dare you think you're a creator being? How dare you think you have magic? You know, we're so conditioned to be powerless and small, and these wizened little creatures skulking in dark corners, terrified to enter the light of our own radiance. Wow, that is so ingrained, and that is where the resistance is at this moment in time. It's like, I cannot come out into the light because something bad will happen. It will turn out to be a trap. There will be betrayal, that sort of thing. I mean, even after I'd had that experience, there was that voice in my head saying, well, yeah, but you don't know that that is true. There's no proof. It's just your imagination. It doesn't mean anything. You know, it's always the same. And it always, if you go with it, leads you right back into feeling like absolute shit. Which is my way of knowing that, hey, shut the fuck up, you're full of shit, Archon. Which, the Archon mind parasites, you know, they sort of are, they're not real, they don't exist, you know, as such. But they manifest in this reality because it's a quest. But, you know, don't take it too seriously, people. Just tell them to fuck off, right? Because it's bullshit. How do we know to use discernment? How do we know what is true and what isn't true? Well, the way I see it, the way I do it, is this. When it's archonic mind parasite bullshit, gaslighting nonsense, it always makes you feel like shit. Always. When it's of the light and your true self, which is infinite and incredible, it lifts you up, it supports you, it inspires you, it makes you feel good. So it's feeling like shit versus feeling really good. So, and it's up to us which one to choose. But you see, we have been badly betrayed, haven't we? We have been incredibly manipulated and gaslighted. So there is all these murky, tortuous mental processes going on all the time, and difficult emotions, and we're still finding our way out of that proverbial maze. But you see, we're doing quite well with that. What's happening now is a massive shift. Whoa. It's massive, and everybody, all living beings with souls are feeling this in different ways and on different layers, and that's fine, that's as it should be, you know. But we are all feeling it, all of us. It's big, people, it's very, very big, and it's all about taking back our power, which actually we don't need to take it back because we've had it all along. It's a bit like, I was looking for the horse but I was set on it. Or like in Fawlty Towers, that episode with this woman, this really cantankerous old term again, is looking for her glasses, but they're stuck on her head all along, and Basil Fawlty's like trying to explain they're on your fucking head. Anyway, if any of you want to have a good laugh, watch Fawlty Towers. It's on Netflix. It's very dated, but it's incredibly funny. And Basil Fawlty is like victim consciousness incarnated, and he's absolutely hilarious. And so it's great to laugh at yourselves, because this is one thing we forget to do. We take it all very, very fucking seriously all the time. And it is very difficult. It is for us very hard. A lot of us have really suffered. We've been through fucking terrible shit, and it's been hard. I know. But there comes a point as well that we have to, even if just for a moment, have a fucking laugh, right? So, you know, watch Basil Fawlty and think of yourself in your own victim consciousness. It's, you know. So, yes, pivotal times, and moving from victimhood and being afraid to step into the light, and so it's better to stay small, and oh, everything is so difficult all the time, and we must suffer and be martyrs, and oh, the world is in so much pain, and taking all that on board as well, and carrying that around, which is what martyrs do, instead of realizing that when you see pain in the world, and you feel it so acutely, it's because that's your pain, see? Because it's all connected. I'll leave you to work out what that means. But let's suffice it to say that martyr programming is run the gamut of it all, and we need to address that shit, people. Because we can jump into the pit with all the other people that are stuck in the pit and try and scrabble to get out, but we ain't helping anybody. We're not helping ourselves, we're not helping them. You get a rope and you lower it down and you help people out like that. But you don't help anybody out by jumping into that muddy, slimy pit with them. A lot of us are very, 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 very fond of animals and nature. And we rescue animals and we look after them, and we see the abuse that happens to animals in nature, and it cuts us up. Now, our own inner child, that part of us which is very present in the deepest wound, Chiron, it's our own inner child which believes itself to be utterly abandoned and alone in the dark, beset by predators. That part of us is what we see when we see animal abuse, you see, because animals are children in a way, and that is the connection there. You see, we feel the world around us. Our world, our environment is a mirror, you see. So when we love animals, when we nurture them, heal them, we are loving and nurturing and healing ourselves as well, you see. I mean, I know quite a few people that, for example, see the suffering of animals, and it's just don't care, they don't care because they're dead inside. And then perhaps you start to wake up. See, people are like that because they've been so severely bludgeoned that they've stopped feeling as much as they possibly can because it's been too painful for them. You see, I know a lady like that. It's a very terrible childhood. And then they begin to wake up, and all of a sudden they start feeling, wow, and that's very hard. That's what happened to me. It was like a deluge of emotion, of grief, of trauma, of insanity, mental and physical. And that can be very, very tough, you know, but hey. Anyway, I digress. I do this all the time, don't I, people? I had a thought yesterday, and I thought I should share it because, well, I wrote it down because I thought it was rather important. You know, when you're children, when we're little, when we're kids, the notion of infinity is cool. We don't have a problem with it, you know, or infinite creativity or anything completely weird, completely like out there, as in beyond the box, outside the box, as in there is no box. You know, like the kid in The Matrix, when he's trying to bend the spoon, the kid goes, hey, There is no spoon. All of this type of stuff, when you're a kid, hey, yeah, of course, goes without saying, right? Then they put you in school at 6 or 7, give it maybe 6 months to a year, and all of a sudden infinity terrifies the fuck out of you, and you start to think in terms of limitation, you know. Concepts of death, endings, limitation feels, yes, okay, because yeah, then somebody goes on about, well, infinity, so, oh no, I don't like the idea of that. It scares you. I remember going through that and thinking, feeling that by the time I was about 8 or 9, because that's what they programmed into me, because, you know, and it was like, wow, because I remember being a child and actually thinking about, I remember that there was a funeral, and I was about 6, and my mother took me to this funeral, and it was this, you know, it was an open casket, and the lady was very old, but she was all grey, and it was just all weird, and anyway, but the whole concept of death, the whole concept of the end was like, nah, that doesn't make any sense, that's bullshit, that's just, nah. Yet 2 years later it was like, oh yeah, that's the truth, and infinity, oh no, that's crazy, no, I can't go there, you know, it's like, wow. And now it's beginning to be the other way around again. You see, that is reset in a very small way, where you start to realize that, hey, yes, of course, infinity, what, the end and limitation, are you having a laugh? And another thought came to me as well, is that a lot of us wander through life and our heads are full, and I mean full, of distortion. I've had a lot of that these last couple of days with the whole Chiron deepest wound business, and it really made me aware of that. I'm grateful for that, because, so, okay, so you think, say you're wandering down the street and somebody looks at you. Immediately the mind goes, oh, they're looking at you because of this, and they're thinking that. And it's never positive, is it? It's always, oh, they're thinking you're ugly, or they're thinking you look fat or old, or they don't like you because of this. It's always negative. The sort of the mental chatter, the distortions, the thoughts that then cause emotions that then affect our behavior and our choices, thus creating our life. It's all based on the distortion, which is this, I call it the kind of the distortion rumor mill, where it's like, oh, you're shit and worthless and ugly and stupid and old and disgusting and this and that and ooh and ah, la 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 la, ad nauseam. It just keeps going on and on and on, and you project it outwards all the time, thinking that people are thinking this about you, they're thinking that about you, so and so is going to do this and so is going to go there, and ooh and ah, and it's all negative and it's all bad, and oh my god, life is terrible, which it is, because for a very long time that is how we think and feel and act and do towards each other, towards ourselves, and so forth and so on. Energetic terraforming people really doing the Archon's work for them. And so that is just another nuance of that I thought I'd mention, because it really came up into my awareness. You see, because of course it's bullshit, it's not true. I mean, people do think that way. We think that way because we've been conditioned and programmed to think that way. But for those of us who are awakening, we can see that and say, oh yeah, I see that, and that's bullshit. Like George Carlin always used to say, it's bullshit and it's bad for you. So that's what I say, that's bullshit and it's bad for me, so goodbye to Lou. Because we can take ourselves and other people and just with discernment and unconditional love, let it be, let it be, let it be. And when these thoughts come up saying, oh, this person is looking at you a certain way because they're thinking this, then know that that's bullshit, you know. That person might be looking at you thinking, wow, she's this or that, and it could be a really good thing, it could be really positive. People also, don't forget, people are in a lot of pain. We're living in a world where the deepest wound is really rising up to the surface. You know, my other half is a gardener, and I mean his customers, his clients, a lot of them are in a lot of pain, mental pain, emotional pain. doing jobs that they absolutely hate, thinking, well, there's no other way, this is what I have to do, and, you know, living on their knees and very unhappy. Because, yeah, we're still, you know, well, I mean, some of us are rising, but there's a lot of people that are still stuck, and there's a lot of course, the organic portal type energy, which is all about, well, the negative, the downside, the kind of resistance. It mirrors back to us our resistance to going into the light, our belief that we're powerless and we're slaves, and the self-hate and the fear and the rage and the, you know, that's what that is. But we don't have to, you know, we don't have to believe that. We don't have to feed that monkey. No, we more and more now will start feeding into our true self, our true power, and find out that we truly are infinite, magical, creative beings, and that we have a lot of power. We just lived in this, you know, the temple of Jim Jones, yeah, but in this cult where we just believe that we're just these, like I said, these wizened little creatures skulking in the dark corners, powerless, dark, dirty, bad, sinful, and it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And the world around us is a mirror. It's a mirror, and it's full of aspects. It's not solid, it's not set in stone. I mean, come on people, the Mandela effect tells us all kinds of stuff. You know, that is a sign, it's a symptom. It's reality morphs. Have you noticed this? According to your consciousness on any given day, your consciousness is not like that, it fluctuates all the time. And your reality responds to your level of consciousness on any given day and all the different nuances of your consciousness, you see. So no, it's not set in stone at all. It's a very interesting experience we're having here, and you know, it's the synchronicity is through the roof. My God, it's amazing. Which again is a very promising and uplifting nuance, you know, that should make us feel optimistic. So I'll leave you today with, yeah, feel optimistic and see the joke. Just for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes today, even if you can, if you've been really depressed, and if you have felt the sorrow and the grief and the suffering and the, you know, all of that, which is Chiron very much, or the rage, and you've been acutely aware of all the schisms. Just for 10 minutes, if you can, see if you can tune into the joke of it all. If you can get Netflix, watch an episode of Faulty Towers, Fawlty Towers, because there is a joke, and it is funny as well. It's many things. It isn't just bad and dark. I mean, come on people, you know, we are rising through the murky depths into the light more and more and more, and we are not doing this alone. We are loved very much. I was shown how precious we are, how loved we are, how powerful we are, and we've forgotten all of that. But it's coming back. We belong. I'm not saying we belong here. We belong in the great scheme of it all, and all of creation and all that is. We are safe. We belong. We are protected. We are guided. We are inspired now. And our souls are coming alive more and more and more and more. Hence we feel our true self's presence more and more and more. So, a little bit of a laugh is a good thing. Come on, people. Anyway, meow. I'm gonna go, and yeah, I just love you all very much. You're all beautiful, and it's gonna be all right. We're truly amazing beings. We're all cues. Toodaloo, babies.